Hi, my name is Courtney Terry, and this is Arts Alive. My guests today are Zee and Summer, and you are both seniors at Linfield University, and you are part of the editorial team for the Camas Literary Magazine.
Very true.
And that's what. And so, Summer, you are the grand editor of all editing.
One of those.
Something,
Yeah.
Yep. And Zee, you're the prose editor.
Yes.
Specifically.
Yeah, so anything that falls into the like no line breaks, no poetry, no scripts, that's me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Even like the stream of consciousness, which I guess would
Yeah,
like
stream of
honestly, like
consciousness.
this is
My
a
way.
block of text.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as we were talking about before we started filming, Camas has been around for a long time.
Yeah. We started in the early 90s. I think actually I read through some of the 1990 issue. Back then we were known as Test Marketed Downpour, and we published twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall, with smaller issues of what we were working with. And then around 2000, Shane McRae, amongst other people, changed the name to Camas, and we've been publishing for the past 20 years as that.
Yay! And correct me if I am wrong, and just relatively recently, it was traditionally a publication for Linfield students and faculty and alumni and Linfield associated folks, but now it is also open up to the general public.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole McMinnville, YAML community, anybody's welcome to submit however they'd like.
Yeah. And that's what, so we'll go through some of the, so if someone is interested, if they have a piece of work that they're interested in submitting, what do they do?
So we take online submissions. We have if you go through Submittable specifically, which is like a website designed specifically to take in submissions like that for all sorts of different magazines and whatnot. We have our own little Linfield Camas. You can find us through there, but we also have a website, camasliteraryjournal.com. You can go there. We have our guidelines that we can also go over here too. We have links to where you might want to submit, and also just previous work if you want to get inspired. So.
Oh, cool! Yeah. Like the archives are there.
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
And that's what. So, in terms of what submissions you accept, it's really kind of anything.
Absolutely,
written and artistic.
Yeah. So we have for poetry, we have sub 10 pages, so it can be multiple multiple page poem, so long as it's less than 10 there, and then for our other forms of literary pieces, we have less than 5,000 words for our prose pieces. Scripts also fall under the less than 10 pages. Just for brevity, if it does need to fit in a magazine.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then in terms of artistic pieces, if you want to take.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really looking for visual art this year, whether that's photos that you've taken or paintings that you've done or any of that sort of thing. If it's 3D work, just take a photo of it and send it in. We take JPEGs or PNGs. Our memory has collectively called in on that, but one or the other, and it will say in the guidelines what format, what file type we do want to take. So, yeah.
Yeah, and for those who speak other languages, we also accept other word like Spanish, Arabic, any other language that you have a creative piece in. We are more than happy to take those, and we can discuss whether or not it would be to your preference that it's actually translated, or if you'd like it to remain as its original work, that's totally okay too.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so it's amazing that there are so many different pieces that people can submit. And then so what is part and I guess so the Camas team, did it start as a class? Is it kind of I would sincerely hope you get credit for all of your work. But is that, I guess, a little personally, where did both of your interests come that kind of brought you to the giant, maybe not giant editor,
grand editor.
I like Gran. We'll stick with Gran.
I mean, I'm a creative writing major at Linfield, so writing is my whole deal. I've been writing since I was 10 years old, and it's been my big thing since I was a little kid. So then coming in, and I just wanted to be involved, and it just gradually became a thing where my junior year I was actually in Zee's position, and then it's my senior year, and I was the guy for the job.
Yeah, similarly, like I've been writing creatively since I was a youth. I'm a psych major, but I am a creative writing minor, and so the way Camas works is that you don't necessarily have to take the class, but there is a class in which you can sign up for and get credit. We meet once a week, but you're welcome to do it like just like extracurricularly as well. But it's really fun because you get a whole bunch of different people from a whole bunch of different backgrounds. You get people who want to just work on the website and they're just interested in that. You know, there's people who want to do it all, like have their, I want to edit for you and I want to edit for you. And so it's a really cool place where just a lot of people come.
Really healthy environment, and we have there's so much staff this year too. There's a lot of involvement and it's really exciting.
Well, cool. And I love that idea of getting people from kind of all the disciplines. It's not necessarily a English major, creative writing major kind of thing, because, writers are everywhere.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. And Joe always says, if you write, you're a writer. So I think it's just wonderful, too, to start including the community. 100%. And a lot of people who don't consider themselves, I'm not a writer. I just, write every so often. It's like, no, that makes you a writer.
Yeah,
they want you.
It does. That's what I run a monthly poetry night for the public library, and we just had a woman this past month who came and she read a poem, and it was her very first poem that she has ever written, and it was about going with her grown son to Costco, and just everything about it. Like, she was excited, but she was also nervous, and then the audience at the mic. She's like, I'm not a poet, I don't write poetry. And somebody was like, sounds like you're a poet. You're doing the writing, you're doing the thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's another great opportunity for local folks. And are there, is there an age limit? Would you accept teens, kids, adults?
Anybody, anyhow, anytime.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Anytime we should say that submissions closed.
Yes, that's true.
Okay,
that's true.
So that's what submissions are open now.
Yes. They opened the 29th of September. I think they closed
December 1st, if I remember correctly.
That sounds right to me.
So right after Thanksgiving, basically. I think the Friday after, or no, a week after, basically. Thanksgiving. Yeah, and we'll consider, depending upon the amount of submissions that we get, they might get reopened for a second round, but we'll just have to see about that. We'll play it by ear.
And you can follow on our Instagram, which I believe is Linfield Camas Magazine. I'll have to check that.
Yeah.
But it's also linked on our website, which is for sure Camas Literary Journal. So, but if you want to follow us on Instagram, we do have there.
Yeah. We also have a Facebook page, too.
Oh, yeah, we do have a Facebook.
So social media, the website can go to the social media, can get...
Absolutely.
Yes, exactly.
And then, and you mentioned it a little bit, so once people submit their pieces, do they get and you're the prose editor, so do you, send it out to more people? how does it flow? What is the structure?
So submissions, the buck kind of starts with me. I get to look through all of the pieces that we get, and then I get to assign them out. Art goes to our art director, Colin. Poetry goes to our poetry editor, Sarah, and prose goes to Zee. And then
we, from there, right now, since we're kind of in the beginning stages of accepting, we don't have very many, we're kind of just being let's send this to who's interested in reading it, and we have a couple of readers go through it. Then it comes back up to the editor, and they're like, for prose or poetry, it's the same process of all of my readers who read this really, really liked it. I really like it. Let's push it to be in Camas. Or it's this piece doesn't really fall in line with our artistic vision for this edition. So maybe we'll send it back, ask for some edits, or ask them to submit next year instead. But it's a very iterative process of going through and lots of different readers. And we're always making sure to work with any writers who maybe maybe we're like, oh, we love this, but we need a few edits, you know? And so we want people to be able to find their way into the final copy, even if perhaps their first submission isn't exactly what we might want it to look like.
Well, and I feel like that's such an important part of the writing process of even that, like, you may get rejected, but it's also like, here are some edits. Like, you may need to rework things, and that's just all part of the process.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's something that, like, in at least the Linfield Creative Writing Department, which is a subsection of the English department, but it's all about making messes and then just having fun learning through that. And so I think that really shows in the Camas process, is that we know that people have just made messes and cleaned it up and sent it to us, and sometimes like it's like, awesome, we love this mess, like let's shape it into something so that we can all feel proud of when it ends up in the final copy. And so just loving the mess, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. I'm loving the mess. And oh my gosh, I had a question at the tip of my tongue, and it was about Camas, and it is gone. Wow, that's
no
really
no
succeeding as an interviewer today.
I mean, that's part of the writing process.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Got it back. You had mentioned that there's a theme, kind of, and that's like you said, so it's like kind of a vision that you guys go into talk more about that.
Like, absolutely. So, I think what I had said was artistic vision, which, like, I think that speaks more to the, like, we want everyone to feel like they can read through Camas and feel like it's like, yes, these are, like, you know, high quality pieces that we enjoy reading, and that doesn't mean that it necessarily has to be a like 1,000% perfect piece when it's submitted to us, but that's why we want to work with the readers to get them to a place where we're all comfortable with it. And so we want readers to be able to have that experience of being like, I can see that these are like the best they could be. And so that's kind of our artistic vision, is we want these individual moments that you get through stories, through poems and all that stuff to be like really like sanctified in their little moments and as beautiful as they could be. So that's our vision.
That's an amazing. Well, and it's just it makes it so accessible.
Yeah, and I think that's one of our big missions.
100%.
Yeah, especially for this year in particular, but for every year I feel like that's been true.
Yeah, everybody should feel welcome to submit, and everybody should feel like they've got a real chance of getting into the journal, because they absolutely do.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
And so last year was the first year of accepting community?
Yeah, I think so. Our editors last year, they made that decision, and I definitely agree with it. I think that we got a lot of, some of our best submissions came from people just in the community who, you know, just gave it their best shot, and it turned out great.
I would 1,000% agree, and I think too when in May we have that's when the magazines at the journal's out, and we have a little like release party where like we have a lot of like a certain selected writers come and they read like one of their pieces at a mic, and you get a chance to like ask questions and be exposed to all these other people who are in the journal. And it's I thought last year was so fun to have we had alumni, we had students, we had people from outside the like Linfield community. Like it was just like really fun to like kind of have us all in a room. Well, not all of us, but the ones that could make it.
Yeah.
So.
And I do love those community events, like the poetry extravaganza event that happened a couple weeks ago, and it's always fun going into the Linfield space and then seeing, especially a lot of times out in the community with community events, we don't get very many folks that are in like the college age demographic.
Yeah.
So like going to Linfield and being like, oh great, like there are artists, like people are coming, they're just staying here, it's great.
Yeah. It's, those campus boundaries, they're hard to push through. Both ways sometimes, and I think that's why we've been going to 3rd Street, putting up posters, trying to get local businesses really to try and dissolve those boundaries, to make it very, very easy for people to be like, oh, Camas, yeah, I can submit to that, no matter where you are in McMinnville or Yamhill.
Yeah. So. That's wonderful. Yeah. Well, Zee, Summer, thank you so much for coming and talking about Camas. And then to review, submissions are open now until December 1st.
Yes.
And you can go on the website camasliteraryjournal.com,
Yes.
and there's the online submission and also the guidelines. And then I'm assuming if folks have any questions, there's contact forms and they can
Yes.
reach out.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, that sounds like I'm excited already. That's amazing work you're doing. And thank you both for coming and talking with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Great opportunity. So we really appreciate it.
Oh, great. And this is Courtney, and this has been Arts Alive. Thanks.